Hello, everyone. Transgurus here, and we're back with another episode. And we're here to talk about staying positive in a challenging world. So here we go. We're gonna jump right into it. So staying positive in a challenging world. Yeah, that's definitely, um, that's reality. The world is challenging, and I guess in my own experience, I've had a couple moments in life where I've had to um, frame my circumstances surrounding me, and I had to internally play a chess match. I had to strategically see what was happening around and frame it in a way where I liked what I saw, where I was able to actually enjoy what was happening because there was a bigger purpose and mission ahead of me. So, for example, when I was, a couple years ago, I was working at a dollar store, and people could say dead end job. There's not that much to learn in retail. You're dealing with customers that are unappreciative, and they treat you like the bottom of the barrel. A lot of times the bosses didn't understand, and all these things. I can go on and on and on and on. But I decided while I was working there that I was going to go to work every day and enjoy my time every single day. I went there and I always had a smile on. I always was laughing with the customers. I was always trying to do the very best I could to give the best service that I could to everyone. Even if I had a jerk come in and they really had a bad day, I would still try to find some type of way to make that into like a little game in my own mind. Like I made it fun. Like even though someone would be like, "Oh, you're like somebody would probably say to me like, "Oh, you're working this job because you're going nowhere in life." I've had people say that to me before. And that's challenging to like hear that and just soak in, like just let that like roll over your shoulders, like but I got to the point where when somebody would come in and they would say something like that to me, I would look at that situation and I would put like a challenge, like how can I contribute to this person's life in some type of way where they leave here, or I'm able to they're able to leave here like actually feeling better. Or maybe I would turn it into a game where how can I keep my cool and how can I rise above the emotions that come from when this person says this to me or the circumstances that are happening. So I would look at that person and I would put an excuse to why they're acting like that. Like, oh, maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they are getting a divorce. Maybe they, just, got bad news or something. So I would be able to like bring my emotional state down and be neutral. And then I was able to deal with the situation with clarity. I was able to deal with it professionally. I was able to have a smile on my face and still bring out the best of myself. So I never came out of character with anyone that tried to push my buttons as a cashier. And I did the same exact thing and across my supervisors, my coworkers, everyone. And every day I'd go there and I would always have a positive outlook, trying to always make the day a little bit better, make the day go smoother, make the day. I want to be somebody that when my coworkers look at me, they have a great time. So eventually I ended up getting promoted because they saw that I was, always outperforming my performance from yesterday. I was always just doing the very best. And, Shannon, I know you can comment on, just like off of this experience, like you yourself, you're a leader, you're a boss with your company. And when you see people that are working for you doing things and they're always having a positive outlook and attitude, how does that make you feel as a boss? How does that make you feel when you see your staff coming to work every day and no matter what's happening, giving it their all?
I'm not a boss, and I don't have people that work for me. I work with people. I may be the leader, but I don't have any employees. I have coworkers, and I don't consider myself a boss. I consider myself, um, wow, I never really thought of it, but I don't ever consider myself a boss. I'm more of a
You're a coach.
event coordinator, a coach. Yeah, I don't ever boss my people around. I suggest. I make suggestions. I establish there's a result that is needed, and let it uh, occur on its own. But yes, it is a good feeling when you have everyone working together as a team. That creates flow. It's efficient, uh, safer, and more productive. Sure, Christian.
Is there ever any, like, does the job ever get challenging? Is there ever times where you guys have to put your mind to a problem, solving a problem, and it might be outside your realm of familiarity or comfort?
Absolutely. So between myself and all my coworkers, we probably have 100 years of arboricultural experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of knowledge. That's a lot of experience. So I always seek opinion and guidance and strategy from my coworkers. Always, it's always a group effort. Always, and as a result, people feel more engaged. They're more willing to contribute. Christian.
Thank you. And I'm sure the attitude that everybody brings to the table each and every day definitely contributes to how productive the whole team can be, and how cohesive they can be, and how willing we are to see a solution, a viable solution to the problem that is presenting itself. And that is definitely something that I would like to have more examples by with Ella. You have so much experience, Ella, and I know that you being an engineer, writing books and everything, there's definitely been times where maybe going to work was challenging because of circumstances that are going on. So how did you manage to continue your responsibilities and maintain your life even though there's challenges going on?
Hey, being an engineer, by definition, you always have to go with challenges because you always are in an environment of creativity in a way, and you are bringing answers to your customers. That's what being an engineer is all about. And when you bring answers, you bring as well questions because, things don't go right, or things go right, but probably there could be even better because we're always increasing, we're always doing things better. And that is all, it's always little challenges, little challenges. And it is one of the most important thing. And I mean, that's probably why I am an engineer, because I always liked to resolve those little challenges. And sometimes those little challenges can be a mechanical thing. That means, a piece which doesn't fit, or I don't know, something like that. But very often it's just a psychological thing. And many, many people have to deal a lot with the psychological parts. It's more than the engineers. So, I mean, when you are sometimes, I'm just like everybody else. Sometimes I get up with too many challenges because they come from my head. Because I think, oh, I will not be able to do this. I will not be able to do this because that's what I thought for a moment, because, your fears are coming in. But that is exactly when you have to go in front and face your fears and your challenges and go to the next level and try to be better. I mean, right now, we are facing so many global challenges. I mean, 2020, my God, it has been one challenge from the beginning to the next. But you know what? We will survive. We will get better, and we will be beautiful.
Ellie, do
So
you think that having blueprints, like almost like you know how you, when you're doing the engineering, having like the blueprint and seeing a visual of what the final product will be, does that help when those challenges come and they arise and things might get a little iffy and on edge? Does that help
Christian,
to motivate you?
Christian, you are absolutely correct. A blueprint is for an engineer. I have another type of blueprint. It's called mind mapping. Mind mapping is nothing else than a blueprint. That means I put all my, challenges, all my issues, and I draw on the issues. I draw what am I going to do to get over them. So, and this is for me, it's so important. For me, mind mapping is so important that every time I open my computer, it's in my background. So I know what my goals are, what are my issues, how can I resolve them? And it's an everyday work. I mean, today I had some issues and I resolved them. It's a daily thing. But you can only move mountains one stone at a time. Never forget that.
That's right. That sounds like a really good strategy, mind mapping, to help stay focused and positive when things start to go a little awry.
If anybody wants to have more information about mind mapping, I'll be very happy to share.
Yeah, that's like having a target.
Yeah, and that is a blueprint of your life.
So, Raji girl, how are you doing over there?
Hi,
Hey,
I'm doing pretty good.
you
I
doing
have to
good?
drink a lot of water because I'm always hot.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm drinking water right here.
And you look hot tonight, so.
Oh,
Yes.
Bonnie, glad
Like red hot.
Girl.
Now, is that like the hot sauce or like the red cinnamon gum? Like, which one are we gonna be?
Oh, okay.
Like-
Well, sometimes I'm like hot sauce. Sometimes the red cinnamon gun. You gotta you gotta kind of balance it out. You can't be too over the top all the time.
Yeah, you don't want to get too crazy now.
Why not?
So, well, oh, Bonnie, you naughty girl, you.
Yeah, why not? We could do both at the same time. But Raji, I want to know, like, challenges are like it's just a simple fact of life. Like, and everyone's gonna have their fair share. Every single person here is going to have one. A challenging moment or maybe even a lifetime. And what is one of your secrets? What is one of your methods that you've used time and time again that has truly gotten you to regroup and get back on your path so that you can overcome any challenge that comes your way and stay on course, stay positive and stay happy and focused towards your goals? What is your method?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I want to comment on what you said about, how you dealt with working at the dollar store.
Mm-hmm.
And all my life, no matter what job I had, whether it was my first job out of high school, working in a jewelry store, selling jewelry as a sales consultant, or at the American Red Cross being a blood liaison for autologous and directed blood, whatever the job I had, the whole gamut. I always treated it like it was a stepping stone for me. And I would go in and give 100%. And so a lot of times when I see people working what they call these, well, now they're considered important jobs, but before they weren't. You know what I mean? These service jobs and that sort of thing. And they have an attitude like they really don't want to be there. I always think about like times when I was at places that I didn't really want to be, but I still gave it my all and I made the best of it. And, I would go in with a very positive frame of mind be, positive with my coworkers and with the customers that were coming in. And it always, for me, led to some other opportunity. Like it, putting that positivity out, it certainly attracted it back, in my regard. And then, Shannon, what you were saying about being a team player, you might be the lead. It really struck a chord with me because I thought about all the different supervisors and managers I worked under, and I always worked better when it was someone that had an attitude that we're a team, and we were working as one, as opposed to like that micromanager. It just, you wouldn't get as much out of me if you were a micromanager. I can tell you that. And then Ella, honey, I just gonna sum it up and say, where there's a will, there's a way. And that's what I got from you. I'm sure Bonnie's gonna give us some great words of wisdom. But for me, I have, in this world that we've been living in, I have found myself having to balance the love, spiritual, peaceful person that I am with the activist that I am, and balancing the two. Because one thing I will do is, there was a great person in history, and his name was Mahatma Gandhi. And Gandhi was someone that was about love and peace and nonviolence. But he didn't walk around with his head in the cloud. He was able to still stand up against injustice. And so I always think about his life, he was loving and peaceful and nonviolent, but he protested when there was something to protest about. So for me, what keeps me balanced is my prayer and meditation, kind of like retreating from the world, getting off social media and, not watching the news, and really just, even if it's in the bathtub, in a hot bath, because you can pray and meditate anywhere, in a nice hot bath, and I'm soaking this old body of mine. Let me stop. Let me tell you something. A hot bath is really therapeutic, okay?
Sure
So,
is.
and I'll meditate and I'll pray and focus on recentering myself and being a balanced person. So my thing is always, no matter what I do, and I say this from the deepest core of my soul, from the deepest core of who I am, no matter what I do, I always do it out of love. Even when something might come off, maybe it rubs someone the wrong way, my intentions are always good. I can swear on my life on that. I really do. I really do try to do it from a place of love and kindness and peace and harmony with all of us here on the planet, no matter what color you are or where you're from or, whatever. So that's me, and I'm going to shut up now because, I can run my mouth.
So that's really awesome, Raji. Always trying to, have that good intention behind all your actions. That's the fuel that's going in. And it's going to definitely contribute to what you get out. Bonnie, what is your way? What is your way that you've been able to make it this far and be able to still stay standing, with a smile on your face and, not allowing the different, I guess, challenges of this world to tear you down and take ownership of you. You've taken ownership of your own destiny. So what's your secret?
I don't know if there's totally a secret, but bottom line is it's all got to do with perception and how we perceive things. And it's where our aura, or however you want to call it, But if you basically focus from a positive place, like Raji was saying, she comes from love. Well, I always try to see things positive. I'm going to give you a real quick example. A while back, I don't know, it was a few months ago on one of our programs, but I got out of the shower, and when I got out of the shower, the water hose busted underneath my toilet and was spraying water, like 5 feet in the air, just unbelievable. The first thing that came to my mind was I thanked, acknowledged, and sent the universe love that I was standing there. If I wasn't there and I wasn't home, my house would have been totally ruined. The whole floors would have had a few inches of water. They would have ripped out everything. It would have been a disaster. And before I even reached to go down there and turn that water valve off, like I said, instinctively what came to my mind was thank, acknowledge, and send the universe love. And then I turned it off. When something happens to you, it could be negative. Some people sit there and say, oh, I got to spend more money. I got to fix the toilet. I got to do this. Oh, I got a mess. I got to clean up, on and on. I had a little mess to clean up. I had to fix the toilet, but I didn't have a big mess that I had to deal with. And I was there. I had a refrigerator one time, and this is crazy and it's gospel, but ice started coming out of the door. And then all of a sudden it caught on fire. If I wasn't home, this is the new refrigerator. If I wasn't home, my house would have burned down. But I was able to run over the refrigerator and unplug it. And I lost the refrigerator, lost all the stuff. But once again, what I'm trying to say is I was thankful that I was there before the problem turned into a disaster. And instead of getting upset over it, I was thankful that the universe had given it to me. A lot of times when you come from a positive place, the universe will send you back a lot of positive. So if you're being your essence, like Raj was saying, comes from love, I try to come from more of a positive place. I try to find positive and negative situations. No, I don't care how negative the situation is. There's something positive if you look at it. Sometimes you can't emotionally become involved and go, oh, this. No, step back as if it's not you, it's somebody else. And you're looking at them like a third party and say, well, let's see how we can spin this. And if you go after looking at things and find the positive and not focus on all the negative, your life and when I drive someplace, and this happens to me, so today I went to Home Depot, I pulled up, and there's all these cars and whatever, blah, blah, blah. There was a parking space right up front for me. I didn't expect it, but I drove right up front to see if there was one there. I pulled up, and the car was pulling out. I was the first one to get the parking space. Once again, it goes back to I'm seeing things from a positive standpoint. I'm looking for positive. I'm giving off positive. And when I deal with people, I usually get positive back. And that doesn't mean that every situation is that way. But if that's where you're coming from, the chances of you getting back positive and creating positive and having positive is 10,000 times greater than if you're focusing on the negative. And that basically sums it up. I try to have a good day every day. I try to leave every day like it's my last, because you know what? It could be. And with that being said, and all the things going on, just got to try to stay happy, be positive, stay focused on the good. And there's so much good. Sometimes when life gets overwhelming, you can take a few breaths, make a list, all the negative, and then make a list, all the positive, and then just keep going. And eventually you're going to find that that positive list will more than outweigh that negative list. And if the clock keeps ticking, why not be in a good mood than a bad mood? Why not be happy instead of upset? Why not enjoy life instead of hating life? The clock is going to keep ticking regardless of how you see it. Make a choice to, if you're the driver of the helm of your boat, drive it where you want, enjoy it where you want, and don't hand the controls over to anybody else. and you be in charge. That's basically sums it up.
That's right.
Well
Just
said.
outside. Well, we're going for a ride, and we're going to be better captains at the end of it, just like how Shannon's always talking about. And we can't ever avoid it, but we can do something within our own perception, within our own thoughts, within the way we want to perceive the world, and still enjoy it anyway. So
I have to say, I absolutely love the statement Bonnie made about live every day like it's your last, because it is so true. Like, we're passing through, and it's not a matter of age. Everyone has a reason and a season. And I wake up and think, like, God, I have another day here. I don't take for granted like tomorrow, because you just don't know if there will be. And, here on the planet, I mean, we're eternal beings, but you know what I mean, here on the planet. And whenever I hear a story on the news, like someone was going to work or someone was going somewhere and they ended up passing away, I always think to myself, God, I bet you that person didn't even think that was going to be their last day, and you're making plans or whatever for next week, next month, next year, which is good to do, but at the same time, living in the moment. And I love that, Bonnie, embracing the eternal now. It's wonderful. I just had to comment.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
yeah, I think.
Shannon, what's
Ella.
What are you saying, Bonnie? Or
I was saying, what's Shannon's views on all this? Jimmy's views.
Oh, you want my view on all this?
Yeah, your turn, sweetie.
Yes, Jimmy.
The common thread that I'm hearing from everyone is that it's all intention. It's all intention, and it's really no big secret. I've heard several folks say that so far already. It's quite simple. We find what we look for, and so our world is challenging. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of things that are an awful lot of moving parts. But if we start from within, if we realize that we are a component of something that's much larger, and it's just like when Christian asked me earlier about how my arborist operation runs so smoothly. It's because we're like a well-oiled machine with a common goal, and that's true with overcoming challenges. And how we perceive the world is also how we present ourselves to the world. Life is a mirror. Life is a mirror. What we project, we get back, regardless of circumstance. There's been instances back in Vietnam, POWs in the Vietnam War, even though that they were in a prison cell in Hanoi, they still were able to play 9 rounds of golf in their mind, in their cell, and they were able to find ways to communicate. There's always ways to proceed through life regardless of the circumstance. If we fall back into victim mode and say, well, the earth is, there's too many challenges right now, I can't do this or I can't do that, well, we're just not thinking hard enough. Well, we're not looking deep enough into the basket of options. And it's all, a big part of it too is perspective. I know sometimes if I get overwhelmed, we're all human, it's shit, come on. We get overwhelmed, I go outside at night and go up and look at the stars. And that puts things in perspective. This is just a small planet in a vast universe. That puts things in perspective. That helps us keep it real. So I wrote a few things down here. We also, I think Bonnie mentioned aura. Part of what we project is is our aura, and our aura is a energy field that is generated from our deepest part of ourself, and our aura has a frequency, it has a vibration, it has a polarity. And as Raji was saying, she operates from a place of love, and Bonnie, she's operating from a place of positivity. All these are higher vibrations. They're higher frequencies, and so a person's aura is going to be of a higher frequency, and we're going to vibrate. I wrote a post a little while ago. It's like with all the turmoil on the planet, there's a lot of turmoil. So we ought to almost like have to. I visualize myself as like a hurricane hunter airplane that flies above the storm. We can do that. Our body may be on the planet, but our soul can vibrate above the storm. We can elevate ourselves above the storm. It can be done. And I think a lot of us here are doing this already. Christian.
That is you know, that's not the easy way out, Shannon. You know, like being able to rise above this challenge and that visual of that fighter plane, that is, you know, that's a great visual. I have it right in my head, and there's so many times in my life where, you know, I could have taken the easier way out, and I didn't, and that's why I'm here today. That's why you know, my life is what it is. So I'm just so grateful that we're all able to contribute to these mindsets, and who knows, we'll maybe have to do a part 2, because I think there's a lot of unsaid business that we got to get into. So on that note, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for you know, being a part of this with us and growing together. So until next time, Trans Gurus out.